Do you have a local sort of bar in Mount Washington that you go to all the time?
No.
No?
Well, I mean, I'm married. I don't go to bars anymore.
I Love You, Beth Cooper, Go Mutants. They share a location, high school.
Right.
Why high school?
Well, it could be because I'm totally obsessed with high school, or it could be
Yeah.
because Beth Cooper was very successful, and then I went to my agent, where they said, we want to do another book, let's think of another book. And I said, well, I got like 5, 6 books I might want to do, and I mentioned all 5 of them. She said, we can sell the one that's in high school. My theory is, and it may only apply to me, being a man, I have the benefit of never actually growing up, never actually maturing in any way. And so it's all still there.
You're still that guy in high school?
Yeah, I just wrote it the way that I would do it now, and it just turned out to sound exactly like a high school student. I was more, dark and
brooding?
Brooding.
You brooded a lot?
I brooded. And if I had been handsome, it would have been so amazing. I would have gotten so many girls instead of being a fat kid. I was at the cutting edge of anorexia.
Yeah.
I had all these bizarre, specific behaviors I developed. What was weird is how specific they were, and they weren't really like things you can understand, like making yourself throw up and stuff like that. Well, that sounds like
that's bulimia, though.
Yeah, well, I had that too. So, and I learned some important lessons for you anorexics out there.
I'm sorry for laughing.
For you anorexics out there,
yeah.
It's really important to lay down a base of vanilla ice cream first, because everything is much nicer coming back.
It comes back. So that's your tip,
right?
To people guys out there tinkering with bulimia
or gals.
So we were talking about in Go Mutants, all these references and not telegraphing that you're telling a joke. I mean, is that something you picked up with The Simpsons, or is that is that something you kind of honed when you were writing?
I mean, that's just the best way to do most kinds of that kind of joke. If you lay a joke like right on the line and it bombs, you're dead.
It's such a storied history with that show. What was it like being part of the continuum of what The Simpsons is?
It was terrifying at first, because I just assumed I was going to get fired, and I moved my wife out there, and we had bought a house, and I only had a 13-week contract.
You weren't a Harvard Lampoon guy, right?
No.
So that's actually different than a lot of the writers that come in.
I've often been misidentified as being from Harvard. Although, if I had gone to Harvard, I guess I would have just been fired from doing The Tonight Show.
There's a good chance of that.
Well, I would have been 2 years ahead of Conan on the Lampoon.
Oh yeah, you probably would have known him. Yeah. You might be without a job right now.
He stole my girlfriend.
He stole your girlfriend?
Well, kind of. I had broken up with her, and it was 6 months later, but nevertheless.
It still felt like a theft, but you're over that now.
Yeah, I'm completely over it.
Sure.
I could barely remember it.
What was it like making that transition from LA, Hollywood, writing for shows, to now you live in Baltimore, and you seem pretty settled into writing novels?
Yeah, well, I still write screenplays in order to pay the mortgage.
You wrote the Beth Cooper screenplay?
Right. Looney Tunes Back in Action.
That was you?
Yeah.
All right.
And Duplex with Ben Stiller and Drew Barrymore. I kept being brought back. I'd write a couple drafts, and then Ben would decide that he wanted to go another way, and then that would happen, and then they would decide to bring me back. And
it sounded like a fun process.
It was fun up until Danny DeVito was hired to direct it. But as far as I can tell, and I'm not sure what the legal basis for saying something like this, but as far as I can tell, Danny DeVito's a world-class just like an incredible ass, at least when he's a director.
This is like some serious Hollywood gossip here.
I believe that's not even at the level of gossip. I think that's a fairly well-established fact. I think he's a fairly sweet guy when he's an actor and in person, but I know I was not privileged to actually be on the set of the movie because I was invited to the movie by Ben Stiller's producer, and then later in the day disinvited by Danny DeVito's producer. He called just to say that I would not be welcome.
Oh. I can see why you live in Baltimore now. Larry, we got one last question we always ask people when they do this interview, and it's who's your favorite hard-drinking writer?
Strangely enough, I think that my favorite authors are not hard drinkers. But,
well, you're ruining this
sorry,
question.
but I know.